All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update. And boy, did Warner Brothers Discovery implode this morning. They had the newest investor call today, and Warner Brothers Discovery stock took a nosedive, and a big nosedive. In fact, they lost 10% of their overall value after, and even more after this investor call. But let's take a look at a few things here today. So first up, we have a photo here from the table read from Superman Legacy. It was their first table read yesterday, and James Gunn posted this photo. And I find this photo to be hilarious because Superman and Lex are in the very back. These are supposed to be the hero and the villain of the story, and they're in the back. And who's in the front? The front is Guy Gardner. This doesn't make any sense, okay? I think it's kind of goofy that they did this. But overall, it's a pretty cool cast photo. I'm sure they're all happy. They're all excited. You know, it would be cool to be part of a production like this. I just feel sorry for all of these individuals because of the circumstances under which this movie is being made. Here's a higher resolution version of that photo that you can see here. So we got Otis, we've got Mr. Terrific, we got Jimmy Olsen, we've got Lois Lane, Hot Girl, and I don't, Miss Tessmacher, and I don't know who a couple of these people are, but I know we got Peter Safran and James Gunn in there. It's pretty crazy. They're moving forward this movie. It's going to start filming next week. Here's just a reminder that Man of Steel is still the most watched Superman movie ever made, and I don't think it is ever going to be topped with the current people that are in charge. Now, this is in regards to Blue Beetle. It says, Blue Beetle star shares how DC's new heads reacted to his film. I just remember James Gunn has this really excited energy to him all the time. They had their notes here and there story-wise. But I think James Gunn and Peter Safran think we did a really good job. Of course they had their notes. They have to turn it in to be goofy and silly rather than, taking themselves somewhat seriously. And I'd really like to know what James Gunn and Peter Safran, what they did notes-wise and what was changed for them. I'd really like to know what those changes were. I really would. So here's something that is pretty cool. I will probably be picking these up. I'm going to have to take a look at them and see what the quality. It would be nice if these come out in hardbound. But it says DC Finest is a new line of comprehensive collected editions featuring the most in-demand eras, genres, and characters from across DC history. The first wave starts in November and spotlights classic adventures starring Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Catwoman, and The Flash. And so you can see here that we've got Batman, or the Finest, DC Finest, Batman Year 1 and 2. So it looks like it's got one collection of that, and there's going to be other collections. It looks like, I don't know if I can zoom in here to see what these other collections are. But yeah, Year 1, Year 2. It's going to be interesting to see. Oh, it looks like Death in the Family there. Some other things. So it'll be interesting to see what these stories are. Hopefully they're good. Don't have a high resolution shot of this, though. But that looks like it's larger than just the two stories, which is interesting. Here's just a cool some art by William Gray. It shows all the different Batmans that have been on film and TV. What they're missing here is the Gotham Batman version. And then you have all the different Jokers down here at the bottom. See, they were able to get the Gotham version there, but I don't see the Gotham version of Batman up here in this other photo. So here's the collected stories of The Flash. This also came across my plate. So all the ones that they mentioned, from Catwoman to The Flash to Batman and all of those are going to be the people that get the first versions of these. It'll be interesting to see what stories they choose for these different characters. So Warner Brothers came out and says that the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has fallen short of our expectations. Gee, I wonder why that happened. When you kill off the most iconic DC character in the fashion you did, and then disrespect characters like Green Lantern and don't even understand how the Green Lantern ring actually works, it's going to turn off the hardcore comic fans. I'm just saying. It would have helped if they had somebody in there to advise them on what they were doing. But apparently, what the product that came out, I'm not interested. When you disrespect the characters and disrespect the lore that way, it's some fan fiction game that holds no relevance to anything. So I'm really not spending my money on this, not until it gets cheap like, the Gotham Knights game did. When it gets cheap, then I'll pick it up. So Variety reports that James Gunn's Superman Legacy starts filming next week. Warner Brothers Discovery boss David Zaslav says the studio has really been underperforming, you think? Including at the end of the year when we had some real struggle. But we're very optimistic about this year, and it has given us the chance to have a lot of upside in the next 2 years. Sure it will. And keep in mind that this was mentioned, I think, right before the investor call. I don't think that was during the investor call. I think this was yesterday, but possibly could have been during the investor call. Here's one positive note. I'll give them credit where credit is due. It says Warner Brothers Discovery becomes first Hollywood conglomerate to turn full-year streaming profit, hitting $103 million. So I don't know what the exact profit is. That might be the profit, and that's fine. They are one of the most expensive apps out there, but they do have a lot of content on there. It's one of the few streaming channels that we watch almost on a daily basis. And what's really cool and what's good is they started to break into that sports aspect too, which is going to bring in even more people. And so that is the one thing that they are doing right, is the streaming aspect of this. But, the rest of the company, it's not going to be enough to get them out of the situation they're in, though. So on today's investor call, or the earnings call, Warner Brothers Discovery CFO Gunnar Wiedenfels admitted on today's earnings call that The Color Purple and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom underperformed at the box office over the holidays. You think? A lot of people didn't even know that there was a new Color Purple movie. They didn't do very well advertising, and I talked about this in my last video. And yeah, you turned Aquaman into a freaking joke. He was not even Aquaman in the film. And so there were a lot of problems with his character in that film. And you can definitely see some of those clips online. It turned into a joke. It's like they got to make everything a freaking comedy. So it says here that the script for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow has already been written and is really great, says David Zaslav. Now this brings up an interesting question. Well, first of all, David Zaslav has said some stuff has been really great in the past. And it turned out to be garbage. Remember The Flash? Yeah. Remember some of these other movies that bombed at the box offices last year? Yeah, I don't think what David Zaslav has to say, he is not a good gauge. He is not a good gauge on what entertainment should be. This is the guy, I talked about this in my last video, this is the guy who comes from, real life stuff. It's not scripted TV shows or movies. He doesn't understand that part of the business and what he says should have no relevance on what is actually happening or what is going to be good or not. So I don't trust anything David Zaslav has to say. Variety reported this morning that Warner Brothers Discovery stock plummets in pre-market trading after Q4 earnings report. And I saw it's trading right now, and when I just last looked, it was at $8.55. It lost over 10% of its earnings, and at one point it was down to like $8.05, nearing somewhere in that $7 range. Like, this is getting pretty crazy. People were not happy. There is no faith in this company, guys. There is no faith in what Zaslav is doing. This is not a good situation for Warner Brothers Discovery. So this is what I was talking about in regards to Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, that script is already completed and is really great, but yet we don't have any information on the script for Batman 2. Like, they're moving forward with this, but no production yet on the Batman 2. Like, what is really going on? It's all about what Gunn wants to do, guys. It's all about this plan to make the company look shiny and new for them to be able to sell. So here's a real live ticker on Warner Brothers Discovery. And you can see here that it's trading at about $8.60. It's right in that area, so it has lost 10% of its value since it opened. And you can see that the low, so today is the 23rd, that the low was $8.25. That's pretty crazy. And at the open was $8.65, and the high was $8.75. Look, it's just going down. With all these announcements, you would think with everything that's happening that their numbers would be going up, but it's having the adverse effect here. It's going down. We're watching a disaster happen. Titanic is sinking at a very fast pace right now. So yeah, guys, things are not good for Warner Brothers Discovery. As I find out more about that investor call and some stories get written, I will be digging deep into some of that stuff. And if there's more information that gets released in regards to DC today, I will do another video later. I still have to do one more video on the whole FBI incident that happened. And so that will be up at some point today. So if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you will be notified as I have new videos go up. We'll see you guys on the next video.